Do I normally give a date for these omakes? I feel like
Yeah, you normally do.
Okay.
It's the 13th, by the way.
Is it? It is the 13th.
It is June 13th, July 13th. Oops.
2017, and you're listening to the Fancy Ramen podcast.
Is that really the start you're going to go with?
It is.
Oh,
I'm Cookie.
I think we could try that intro one more time.
It's July 13th, 2017. You're listening to the Fancy Ramen podcast, Omake. I'm Neil.
I'm Cookie.
And I'm Scott.
This time, we're covering Yuusha Yoshihiko, or The Hero Yoshihiko, Season 1, Episodes 4, 5, and 6, in which Yoshihiko basically dies twice. Our hero is attacked by a large leech and nearly drowned by a kappa before discovering a new place for his dagger. In Episode 5, in which Tumblr's gift set makes sense, there's really no purpose to the title, and we get the best RPG jokes, as I'll say it, so far. And in Episode 6, in which poop looks like chocolate cream, we see just how devastating love can be for Yoshihiko's quest.
I mean, it's not really love that he's after.
A hero only has true love in sight, Scott.
I think he said that specifically a hero's main passion is not that, but something entirely different.
Yes.
The titties?
That might be the case.
Yeah.
Tatas?
What is it? It's opai, right?
Opie, yes it is.
Melons?
While we're on this topic, I actually want to point out that I question whether or not that's technically true, because in the episode that they take out his soul, quote unquote, he seems to be much more of a butt man.
Yeah, he's an ass man, as Donjo says.
Totally an ass man.
So perhaps he just feels the need to express a desire for Opie.
Maybe that was just the best rack he's ever seen.
Maybe.
Ish.
How did you guys feel about these episodes overall?
I think Cookie should go first with his opinion on this.
So I'll be honest with you, Neil. It was real hard to get me to watch episode 4 and 5. Because it's like, I'm finding that these episodes kind of have like a huge dry spell and then like one joke that'll actually really stick for me. And I'm just like, I said we have to watch this show, don't we? Okay, now I've got to watch this episode. Okay, let's do this. I got this. It's becoming a chore.
Yeah. I think as a whole, I might agree with you. Just like we talked about last week, there are some portions and some jokes that just don't land at all. And I think some of them have to do with the fact that they're culturally aimed.
I could see that. But yeah, so it's like, this exists. We are stopping at the end of season 1, right?
Oh yeah, I don't think any of us planned on going past that.
Okay,
thank God. If you guys feel like it, I would not mind putting a halt to this as well, or at this set of episodes.
Oh man, I don't know. I feel really on the fence about giving up, but I'm in a similar boat where it's like, well, committing an hour 30 every week isn't the like biggest thing in the world, but sometimes you're just like, oh, I don't really want to do this right now. And then it's the day before recording. You're like, well, I'm doing it all at once. So,
or all right before, like in my case.
Oh, that'd be even rougher. I mean, at least for that, you have it really fresh on your mind.
But it's funny because I would say that episode 5 probably has it is collectively one of my favorite episodes, purely from all of the game jokes that they make.
It definitely has the most familiar jokes and references for me as a viewer. There's
ditto.
Yeah, I don't think there's any absence of at least comedy or jokes that are pretty well geared towards any of us as far as gamers, especially with experience in JRPGs and pot smashing.
Like in particular, the pot smashing, but not only that, the fact that they all follow in a single line very tightly.
Yeah. Or the fact that they have to talk to her in order to in order to get her response as well. She wasn't just going to stop what she was doing and comment on it. They had to go and interact with her first to get any sort of reply.
And even then, her reply didn't have anything to do with the fact that they were ruining her house.
This isn't Breath of the Wild, sadly. She won't chastise you for standing on her table.
Nope.
And you'll notice that even the townspeople are walking in fixed patterns too.
Yeah.
The other part too, like I noticed it before, but every time they encounter an enemy and they have that horn introduction and like the enemy seemingly comes out of nowhere, it's like the perfect zero budget representation of a random battle.
Yeah. And I'd say those encounters that they have on the road are probably some of the funniest jokes that happen in the show.
Absolutely.
The bandits are always pretty entertaining and they always have a pretty fun spin. I could have passed a little bit on the bandit who stepped in poo after a couple minutes of it.
Indeed.
But for the most part, you're encountering a pretty good bandit skit every time, and each one of them seems to kind of land in a way that's particularly funny. What is the quirk of this bandit? Like, what's the quirk of the next bandit going to be? And I assume for all of the following episodes, there will be another like road encounter. It seems like that is the one recurring skit that we can count on every episode to enjoy.
And sometimes even more than one. We always get one at the beginning, and that's always something I look forward to. But it seems like we've been getting a couple more encounters, including those with monsters, quote unquote, as well.
Are you talking about the cute little dog?
Oh, well, that's a good one too, but I was actually talking about the Dragon Quest monsters that they bring in that are like paper mache.
Oh yeah, when all the slimes flee, I was just laughing at how it's obviously them being pulled back on like a fishing line.
Yeah.
And there's something really funny about watching them tumble backwards out of the way as they flee.
Oh,
Or when the paper mache figures attack and they just get real close and then kind of jump back momentarily. And they make the little damage sound. That I don't know why that's so funny as well.
Episodes 5 and 6 bring out status effects for the party members, and they like I could not stop grinning when the party gets set or put to sleep.
Oh, that's great.
And Melum's like, "What do I do?" And I think since all of us have been playing Persona, at least you're like, "Oh, that's real bad."
Confusion.
You don't want that many
it.
people asleep. And confusion too. I was like, what's Danjo gonna do? This is horrible. Don't throw away your key items.
Well, when he does the weird arm motions and stuff, that I don't know if it's specifically this, but it reminds me entirely of the exact animation that they do in Final Fantasy 6 or 3. Yeah, it was super tasteful. That was obviously not a Dragon Quest thing, since the early Dragon Quest games didn't show the protagonists. It was front battle view, if you want to call it that.
Mm-hmm.
The mimics were also, or the mimic encounter was also great. When they first
Did you
show,
like how they?
Because you can clearly tell which one was the mimic, but they're like, it might be this one.
yeah, with that mosaic, right? Like,
Yeah, the mosaic to hide the strings.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was so funny either. Too, I was like, is this the best you've got for your editing?
I think that's what makes it good, is because it's that bad.
I don't know if I would have preferred seeing the strings or not, though. It might have been funny to just see the strings as is, but you might argue that there is some more humor to seeing them do such a obviously and intentionally poor job at trying to do the CGI with the just blurring that way.
Right, and having to unblur the parts where the actors' faces are.
Yeah.
So I guess we're all in agreement that the best parts of this show are when they're doing video game stuff.
Totally agree, yeah.
Yeah, video game stuff and encounters, I think, are the best parts of this show. But
And the Buddha.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
How did you feel about the Buddha beam finally being unleashed? And almost out of nowhere, too.
Oh, we need to get the story back on track. Buddha beam.
Surprise, it's real.
I will say though, I do like I've kind of been enjoying the final skit about for the first
Hisa.
episode. Oh, yeah, even Hisa.
I'm
just
so
for what she's
confused at
doing.
what her joke's supposed to be.
She's going through time.
She's going through time and phases. Like she's a delinquent in episode 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And in episode 5, she's now like Hawaiian or on like a Hawaiian vacation or some tropical vacation.
And then the next
Yeah.
one, it's like she's going to the homeless shelter or soup kitchen afterward with her boyfriend.
Is that what that one is?
Well, but she's dressed nicely, so
right. That's what makes
which
me
makes
wonder.
it. But if I remember correctly, I don't know, it's been long enough since I've seen it, but I could have sworn they were going to go do something that just seemed like super cheap to me, and I don't know why that stood out. And her boyfriend was like real grimy and had super long hair, which was also pretty different.
So maybe this is totally a racist joke because he's practically wearing blackface.
Oh, is he? I just thought he was kind of dirty, but
I thought he was dirty too.
But he also has
Yeah.
like long, thick hair, and I'm wondering if that's supposed to be dreads.
I mean, I don't know. If they were able to sneak it by the black guy and the super sensitive white guy, it's probably not that racist, at least.
It seems like lately I've been the super sensitive guy compared to you, Scott.
Yeah.
But so like it helps that I have it like right in front of me. But it's weird because right after she comes out from the tree and says, "Brother," she proceeds to reach down and adjust her boobs. And then that's when the guy comes out and says, "Hisa, let's grab some meatloaf at the diner." All right.
Oh yeah, so not soup kitchen, diner.
Yeah, that's right. Diner.
So
And she did have a diner kind of outfit too, I guess.
and I
she
think
wasn't-
that's. Oh,
She
after you,
didn't look
Scott.
like she was dressed for a sock hop, which had me confused because I thought you only went to diners wearing poodle skirts.
maybe
Nah,
this
man.
is just their misinformation of American culture.
Yeah, man. Have they never seen Grease?
So, are we planning on like breaking down the episodes and talking about them, or are we just gonna hodgepodge it like we are right now?
I think we could hop to episode 4 and start working our way up.
All right, episode 4, in which Yoshihiko basically dies twice.
Yeah, we excuse me. We run into a strange bandit to begin with. And I was going to say too, I don't necessarily know if we need to like recap absolutely everything. It's
No, but I think we can talk about like
so
each
anything
skit
else
that
we've
happens
forgotten.
during slightly. Yeah.
So maybe I don't know how I felt about this particular bandit encounter at the start.
Melub's other half.
Yeah, I guess that's what he claims by the end of the encounter. He's like, "Hey, I really like this guy."
Oh yeah.
Well, and they do a call out for him. I don't remember if it's on the 5th or the 6th episode, but he does an impression of that bandit again in a later episode. And I think Murasaki even comments, and she's just like, "Are you imitating him? Like, don't do that."
But it's basically just imitating himself, which is the weird part to me.
Right.
Or not
right.
weird
It's-
as in bad, but the funny part.
Mhm. I'm trying to think what else happened in this episode besides the hilarious Kappa, who at least when he's munching on that cucumber and looking very smug about it, Neil, I gotta say, if you messed up your hair and you wore a Kappa suit and you were provided with a cucumber, I think you could provide the same smug expression. Like you could be swapped out with him as a double at that moment.
You know, that might be my next Halloween idea, or like my next Halloween outfit.
no, that's a perfect
I
outfit.
thought it was hilarious.
The issue is I don't think anyone would know what a kappa was.
No.
I think you'd run into more people depending on where you went who would know.
You know, it's actually true. I mean, I knew what a kappa was when I was a kid just because I happened to play the right Kirby game that had a kappa-esque character. So there's always a chance that people are more informed than we believe.
Yeah, but then again, I guess one year me and Lizzie went as Castle Crashers and no one knew who we were.
Oh, that sucks. What colors were you?
I was the green one. She was the pink one. And
Good choices.
Well, and when you try and say, when you search up Kappa now, what you end up getting is Kappa, and that is basically the Twitch meme. I can't remember the exact name of the gentleman, but it's basically used whenever you say something trolly in Twitch or any social media at this point.
Oh, I see. Not Kappa Parappa?
What? Kappa Parappa?
Oh, well, is it Papa Parappa? What's
Parappa?
the rapping dogs?
Parappa the Rappa.
Parappa the Kappa.
Parappa the Rappa.
Yeah. I guess you're right. Yeah, if you look up Kappa, it's a lot less of the
Mythical creature and a lot more
and a
white
lot
people.
more of this dude's
look
face.
up Kappa or Kappa, same spelling, in Google Images, and you just get a bunch of white guy faces known for being Kappa.
It's a bunch of the same white guy too.
And a
Yep,
lot
at least for
of
the
slight
first part.
modifications.
if you scroll down far enough, you get a lot of Alpha Kappa Alpha. And Kappa Kappa
that's
Lambda.
true too.
No, Kappa Kappa Gamma.
There is actually someone who recreated that Kappa guy's face perfectly in Fallout 4. So that's pretty impressive, honestly.
As for other things that happened this episode, we got maybe one of my favorite Buddha appearances, where it certainly seems like he's just making up shit. It's like, oh right, to fight the Demon King, you're gonna need weapons and items, and it's gonna be an angel's robe that'll protect you from the Demon King. It allows you to dodge the Demon King.
Yeah. All of these items they're starting to be the same too. It's like the shoes of invincibility, so he won't be able to damage you, and this helmet of invincibility, more or less, so he won't be able to damage you. And it's like, well, I mean, can't we just have one of these?
Yeah,
Like, just have Yoshihiko wear one of the items in which he's invincible, and GG, you're good.
All he needs actually is the angel's robe, because then the Demon King
Then you can
can't
dodge it.
hit you.
exactly.
Yeah. But you saw how well that went trying to get it.
They got
And
it eventually.
Some of
Yeah.
those jokes were not necessarily didn't strike me as well.
Because they weren't that funny. Except I will say that I did enjoy Donjo's approach to it at first, breaking out the glass and getting her to tell her story,
Oh, it was great.
only to ruin it at the end.
When everyone was calling him a pervert. I love the fact that when he was about to out Yoshihiko,
Spill the beans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what's his name was like, no. Let's not say anything we're gonna regret.
Yeah. You can't take that one back.
It's another example too for me where they introduce a joke that's not funny, but because they return to it again, like they're not willing to back off of it, it becomes slightly funny.
Right. They're relentless about their approach sometimes.
Yeah, with Yoshihiko's dagger excuse, if you will.
I love that excuse.
I mean, it was at least really funny the first time.
If you notice, he did not get rid of that dagger throughout the rest of the episode.
Yeah, he needs to call a doctor because that persisted past 4 hours.
I love the fact that the angel just started off all like sweet and kind until he told her to disrobe, and then she just got real moody.
Well, because he was really insistent upon it. He's just like, just get naked, basically. Just take off your clothes. Take off your robe.
I mean, he didn't know it. He didn't know any better, but yeah, he was super pushy, which would have been annoying either way. I
Yeah.
also loved her rivalry with Murasaki. Just the fact that they were ready to go to blows for, I mean, no particular reason besides mutual dislike of each other almost immediately.
Oh yeah. And then it just came down to who could bully who the best. And nothing bullies a girl like Pignosis.
Yeah, I thought of that right after Murasaki was done. I was like, it's up to Melub. I was like, well, he's got pig and nose. He'll be able to do it. Pig and nose probably can solve a lot of problems in a negotiation.
And by the end of our episode, Buddha tells them to head west, the opposite direction, to find the invincibility or the shoes of invincibility.
Which brings us to the 5th episode.
In which a Tumblr's gift set makes sense.
Is there
And-
any reference to that?
I think the Tumbler is the first bandit.
Oh.
not?
Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, this is our poison knife assassin episode.
Please explain it to me because I don't know how it makes sense.
Why the poison knife guy would be the tumbler?
Yeah, why is he Tumblr?
Because of the jumps, the step, and the spins.
Oh, okay.
He didn't actually do any tumbling, but he was the fanciest moves that got done. I will tell you, after the 8th time, that joke is not that funny.
But
Yeah.
it's Tumblr TUMBLR though. Like
Like the social
Not-
media website.
yeah, like the social
Wait,
media.
it's really
platform.
spelled like that?
Yes.
Not
yes,
just
yes.
nice.
And that's where I got the gift set reference at least, but I didn't understand. Like, I don't know what Tumblr's gift set actually is, which shows that I'm not as hip with the social media as I potentially could be.
So,
But- Go ahead.
what else happened to this episode?
This is our pot episode. They basically go to a village that apparently kills everyone that tries to leave so they can protect the secret of the village being they have the shoes of invincibility, which we'll talk about what they are in a bit. But the group basically has to split up and try and figure out where the shoes are hidden. But they're all captured with the exception of Yoshihiko.
Who's just not smart enough to figure out what's going on, at least for the first half, to realize that he's being punked by a statue,
Who turns into an ally.
which doesn't ever get explained, does it?
I think we're just
Nope.
supposed to take on the fact that Yoshihiko being the hero has like an unnatural amount of charisma at just the right times, and sometimes not at the wrong times, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes he rolls some crit ones, but when he's trying to, persuade a angel, or when he's trying to soften the blow to a very ugly sacrifice,
Yeah.
he's not so good with women. He's doing okay with men and statues. The only other woman he's been able to convince to do anything was by offering up his life as sacrifice. So, if there's evidence.
After going through sets of traps, the party is kidnapped or captured, and they end up getting out rather unceremoniously. They meet up, and Yoshihiko's sense of, sense of character judgment ends up allowing them to get the golden Crocs. And they point at the Croc brand and say, "This is how you tell it's the real deal and not
These
a
are
bootleg."
legit. Yeah.
I found that funny.
Yeah.
It
'Cause I
was
wearing
pretty
my Crocs
funny.
at the time.
I mean, Crocs are near invincible as far as shoes go, right? I can't think of any way to destroy them without trying to cut them.
And even that's kind of difficult. That's
Yeah.
real thick rubber.
So there you go. They actually are invincible shoes as far as paper mache enemies are concerned.
I was really assuming that it was just going to end up being, I don't know, some generic shoes. So when I saw a product placement, not to mention Crocs, that definitely was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was definitely a good surprise. I'm trying to think of if there were any other jokes that we really missed for this that were good.
I did enjoy Melop getting hit in the head with the washpan
Oh,
Yeah.
because that doesn't happen in real life.
Just the number of them as they continue to fall down. And he's like, "Oh, I'm going to stay at this window, though. I don't want to miss out on anything important."
He keeps moving from spot to spot, though.
Yeah, but he's still under the window and he's still getting assaulted by at least a torrential downpour at the end. And then
Just a peak.
really large one. Yeah, just a peek.
Just a peek.
We also
That's-
see a useful execution of Merib's spell again when he uses sweets on the guard.
That's right. I forgot about that. He's actually used sweets effectively quite a bit more often. It's so far their most useful spell.
He's getting better.
Yeah, is this the one where he gets the really shitty heal spell though? That's the last one.
Oh,
that
I-
was number 4 where he gets heal less. and you just have to consume all of these stamina restoring items.
Yes.
And they're actually all aphrodisiacs, at least Japanese
Oh,
aphrodisiacs.
they actually, honestly, a couple of them sounded familiar, so I was wondering if they were from games or not. So that explains at least maybe why they sounded familiar.
Like did you think the royal jelly was from a
Royal
game?
jelly, yeah, royal jelly sounded really familiar.
Because I'm pretty sure that's used in games, but yeah, I'm pretty sure every single food or item they listed is either a aphrodisiac or also known as like increasing fertility in women. Because I think that's what royal jelly's whole claim to fame is.
Oh, I see.
But I mean, it gets the point across.
Yeah.
Oh. This looks nice.
Do you want
Oh,
some
what
royal
is it?
jelly now?
Is it royal jelly?
That's expensive. Some
Oh,
of it's
it's-
expensive.
It's honeybee jelly. Okay. I don't know why I thought like jellyfish.
Ooh, that'd be fancy. Because aphrodisiac, so you're thinking like rare.
Exactly. And finding a royal jellyfish sounds particularly hard.
I bet SpongeBob could do it.
Oh man. So what they move on to get the demon's helm for the final episode we watched?
In
Yes.
which poop really does look like chocolate cream.
And the best part about that encounter is after they harass the bandit, it turns out Mellop stepped in some too, and they're like, "Oh, you're the one who stinks so bad."
This is also where we see the confused status ailment afflict Danjo, and he ends up wounding Yoshihiko.
All for the better, so that way Yoshihiko could see them tatas. Or see the outline of them tatas, I guess.
I mean, he was just kind of looking at a robe.
Yeah.
I guess there's it takes less when there's I guess less available to look at in the first place. He's just like, "Oh, round shape underneath your robe. Oh my god, amazing."
I love how bad he destroyed what's her name though. He's just like, you're insufficient, and she's just
Oh.
dead.
Oh, it's Murasaki.
Yeah.
She just straight up
she's
dies.
incapacitated like the rest of the episode. She's like, "Oh my god."
Pretty much.
That's pretty harsh, man.
And this does also mark the first episode that we see the other three party members function without Yoshihiko, and they don't fare too well.
No, they don't. And what is it? I can't remember the spell that Mellop learns that mildews your clothes by 60% or something.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's one sec.
It's on the tip of your tongue.
Kerstink.
Oh yeah, Kerstink.
At least
Such
that's
a good
the
name.
English
Yeah,
translation of it.
I can't believe I forgot it. I thought that was hilarious. That's the other thing that's great about his spells is not only are the effects funny, but all of the names are a good joke in their own right.
As Yoshihiko is basically told that his party has left him to go and seek out the demon helm, he tries to go off an adventure and follow them. And that's when the nurse, she's a nurse, right?
Yeah, the nurse
She is a nurse.
protects him from a monster sneaking up behind him, who looks like a very small version of the like final boss that they have to fight that episode. And she gets a poison condition, and then they fall in love.
So you're willing to admit it's love because Ayusha is pure.
I mean, Yoshihiko falls in love with certain attributes of hers, at least.
Them tatas.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really willing to give the guy who, when his soul was removed, immediately reverted into a complete pervert the benefit of the doubt. We know what he's thinking under there.
It wasn't even a pervert. Like, he became a childlike pervert.
Yeah.
So innocent.
Yeah, is that better or worse? I guess it's
How old are you? Yoshihiko's age? Kind of worse.
yeah, I guess so.
At least with Danjo, he He'll buy you a drink first.
Before he asks for a roll in the hay.
Well, but Donjo, like if we're taking the soulless thing more seriously, Donjo apparently has a more feminine side to him that he's locked up.
That's why he knows how to treat a woman.
Yeah.
She opened up to him very fast.
Yes.
She did. And honestly, his dialogue was pretty amusing. Like I think he did a good job, honestly.
It just occurred to me that we forgot about the bandit encounter in one episode where the guy had a gun.
Oh, that was the last episode, I believe. Because his wife's like really mad because he's neglecting to do his chores while he's out banditing. So he gets saddled with the baby and then the trash, and then his wife's just kicking him. And Yoshihiko feels so bad for him that he offers to help with some of those chores.
Yeah.
It's pretty amusing, and I figured it couldn't have progressed much further. I was like, he's holding a baby. He's not going to fire a gun. This is over. Like, what kind of parent fires a gun next to their baby's head? That's how you get tinnitus.
That baby don't. I mean, that bandit don't care. But I did love his wife's kicks.
Yeah,
she was so quick with him.
Ferocious.
So after the end and Yoshihiko fall in love, they end up discovering that she cannot kiss.
Otherwise, her heart will stop. And so I think that's kind of the funny thing, too, is Yoshihiko in his earnestness goes to, it's the south to deal with the sorcerer or whatever, when they're supposed to be headed in a different direction.
To the north.
Yeah, and they're just like, that's the wrong way. He's like, no, this is definitely the right way. And then she tells him, you can complete your quest and then come back to me. He's like, oh, I guess that's an option. So he does it really quick, and then he goes and he threatens the sorcerer. But the best thing about that is he could have been happy if he would have said specifically, remove the spell preventing Lien from kissing men. Boom. He never had to know the truth. He would have been happy.
I just love, like I was saying earlier, Scott, just how enthusiastic he was after she was like, we can do more than kiss. And he's just running at top speed. He ends up saving his party from the monster in the north. It's like, good, this is done. All right. Runs at top speed to the south. And then he's like, stop messing with her. Good. Now I don't have to kill you. And then just keeps running again.
Don't you love that while he's running, he's just yelling too the whole time. Just screaming, running through the woods.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good execution of the joke too.
It's scenes like that make me want to keep watching Yoshihiko, but then it's just the rest of it that's like, do I?
Well, I mean, if we stick with, we're 50% through, and so if we stick with it, the one thing that I'm predicting at least is a lot of times with shows like this where they seem to be doing self-referential humor, like they're referencing old jokes, especially with like the Hisa skit every time and the bandits, but even with Mela recreating that bandits dialogue later and them noting it, I'm hoping that they will carry forward more like references back to old jokes, which I always think is normally pretty funny when you have a setup and then you wait quite a while to like cash in on another joke for it. But if not, I think we can definitely bet that they end up doing some more wandering, and then at the very end, they probably encounter the Demon King, which turns out to be incredibly anticlimactic. But I don't know. I feel pretty 50-50 about it.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it up to you guys.
I'm pretty 50-50 about it too. Let's give it this next 3 episodes. Oh,
I've got
my favorite Buddha scene was this week.
A handful of quarters next to me that I could flip because I wasn't sure if I'd need some quarters for parking downtown today, and so I've got like $3 of quarters right next to me. I can flip a coin.
I take it you didn't need to park downtown then?
What's wonderful about parking downtown out here is it's similar to what Omaha used to be like, where after 5 o'clock on a weekday, there's no more need to pay the meter. It's free parking past then. And there's actually a substantial amount of parking. Like, there's much better planning for parking spots than Omaha has ever had. There's a surplus of it, which is really nice.
You want to know why there's a surplus of it, Scott?
I mean, because there's less people, but it also seems like they planned pretty well with the development in the downtown area out there.
Nah, they knew they were going to make their money back with movie ticket prices. Hey,
ouch.
It wounds me. It's so expensive to watch a movie out here. You're 100% right though. It's like I have to go for a matinee showing to get what would be a normal ticket price on like a Saturday night out in Omaha. And it's just like, why are movies so expensive for you people? Why? This is how you make pirates. This is how people end up pirating things, is when it's an outrageous price to do something that normally shouldn't cost that much.
All right, I have a proposal.
You want me to flip the coin next to the mic so you get that nice little ting sound?
That's watch one episode.
That didn't go well. I hope you didn't hear that.
No, it sounded like you just flicked the coin into the microphone.
I mean, that's not exactly what happened. I can definitely say that I'm interested in what this next one is because the episode title is "In Which Merib-san is Only Worth 5 Gold."
Yes, that is partly the motivation why I felt that this would maybe,
turn it around.
Yeah, maybe.
These next 3 episode titles are my favorite of the group so far, because 8 is "In Which Teen Idolship is Threatened," and 9 is "In Which Merib-san Learns Crickle." And I can only imagine what crickle is going to be as far as a spell.
Fuck it, let's just watch the next 3 episodes.
Yeah, I'm down.
And if they have to actually mention that in a title, I wonder if that's an offensive spell.
Ooh.
That's true. I mean, how offensive is it, though? Is it as offensive as Piganos, or?
Maybe it's just offensive within like one's sensibilities, like calling someone a bad name offensive.
Holy crap, that would be his offensive spell.
Yeah.
Because it'd still be useless, but it'd also be offensive.
It can inflict the enraged status on someone. Flips them off.
Oh yeah, so I will say my favorite Buddha skit was in these 3 episodes. It was
Which
when
one?
Buddha got turned on, but he didn't realize he was actually on.
Oh, right.
And they were like, I don't think he can control it. Just such a useless Buddha. At least stop eating. He's like, what, you're going to make my lunch get cold? No, screw you guys.
Oh, and the Buddha scene in episode 4 is also really good, where Yoshihiko's basically dying, where he's on the ground from lack of blood. Or blood loss, I should say.
Oh, the leech. That's right.
And they pick up a leaf and they're like, can we badmouth you behind this?
It's like yes, it's a blind spot.
That's a blind spot from heaven. Yeah, that absolutely.
And then you have to think, like, is that all it takes as a like palm frond to hide your ill intentions from the Buddha? Once again, how powerful can he really be? But he reasserts himself with the Buddha beam. So we're left in a state of indecision on how powerful the Buddha is.
There has to be a reason that he's using this party to get back at the Demon King, right?
Right.
I think it's just being told by some other Buddha. As we know, there are multiple Buddhas, because who else was he talking to when he was eating his lunch?
That's true.
Who knows? Or maybe that's a party further to like the west of them. So he's on the other cloud screen. And they get along better, so he's actually just shooting the shit with them. And he doesn't like Yoshihiko's team as much.
Well, they do just berate and make fun of him.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they've got that palm leaf, though, they can keep it on the down low.
They kind of make fun of everyone in these 3 episodes. They're just a mean group of people.
I think that about does it for these 3 episodes of Yuusha Yoshihiko.
I think you're about right.
Maybe.
I'm Neil.
Yeah. I'm Cookie.
And I'm Scott.
And this was the Fancy Ramen Omake. We'll see you next week.
Bye.